Yes, good morning and welcome to another episode of the Marathon Build, episode 7, in which we will talk about nutrition. Nutrition is one of the most important pillars of marathon training, of course, because of several reasons. First of all, we of course want to fuel ourselves properly during a marathon build, especially when basically volume is increasing, when intensity is increasing. Our body needs to tap into fuel. We cannot just run on fumes. That is not going to work. It's going to basically work destructive for our recovery. It's not going to work well for our performance throughout the entire workout. And everything around nutrition is based on how we can fuel properly before every workout, during the workout, and of course how we can basically recover more efficiently. This is all basically about nutrition. Nutrition is absolutely essential, and we need to understand what works for us, because what works for me might not work for you. I'm going to share inside this entire episode my nutrition throughout the entire week. Right now I'm basically on my way towards the supermarket in order to basically, just do grocery shopping, and I will show you guys what I will take with me and why I take that with me. So you can maybe apply it for yourself, and you can basically, based on that, see what works and what doesn't work. What is important is that, of course, we test. We test. Testing is absolutely key. Also, during my first basically marathon build last year in Madrid, I've seen many things that didn't work for me. I've seen many things that did work for me that I'm still implementing and incorporating inside my nutrition schedule. So that's what I will show with you guys as well, and what we will go over inside this video. So with that being said, let's dive into that, what I'm going to eat and what's working for me, so you can basically use it for yourself if you want to. Alright, so the first part of the grocery shopping experience has been completed. A lot of coconut water and of course other ingredients that I could pick up here at the supermarket. Right now, what I will do is I will head off to a different location. It's called Sligero in the Netherlands, which is like just a very big kind of supermarket where you cannot just walk into. So that's something where I will pick up all my meat that I always do, because I prefer to have my meat grass-fed. So preferably also organic. Unfortunately, it's not always organic, but at least grass-fed. So I know it's like it has the right as well, like just ingredients, minerals, and everything around it that I can trust. So I don't need to look at it too much. So that's what I will do at a different location. So let's head off right now, and let's see what we will pick up in there. Grocery shopping completed. What we got ourselves, besides the coconut water and everything we got from the supermarket, we got ourselves one salmon fillet, one rib-eye steak, and 1,500 grams of grass-fed, ground, finished ground beef, basically. So what I do during this marathon build is increasing my carbohydrates, and I will reduce the amount of fats that I consume on a daily basis, the amount of healthy fats. Even though I still have a salmon, I still have a ribeye, and I still use ground beef, I used to eat way more, let's say, healthy fats compared to carbohydrates. Right now, as I'm into a prep, I will reduce the amount of healthy fats, and I will increase my carbohydrates. And this is why. Look, the amount of calories that is in a gram of, let's say, fat is 9 to 10 calories per gram. If you compare that to protein and carbohydrates, that is 4 to 5 calories per gram. So what that means is, if we eat the same amount of food, from healthy fats to carbohydrates, we will basically have less calories that we will be consuming per gram. And what this means is this will also allow us to lose weight if we want to during a prep, in order to become faster and to just, let's say, increase the amount of carbohydrates, those quick energy sources, and also around the workouts, what I consume on a daily basis. Carbohydrates is something that I will right now increase, and the healthy fats is what I will reduce. Because I have seen significant difference when I compare carbohydrates to healthy fats around my workouts, especially in a prep. And what I've seen specifically is that my recovery process literally facilitated a lot. My recovery was way better the day after, for example, when I had a very heavy workout, and also my performance increased. I could tap into, let's say, glycogen store. So your glycogen, right, it will just be topped off. And what that means is your body will tap into glycogen rather than, for example, your muscles when they want to tap into energy sources in order to perform during the runs. So when you have carbohydrates at top of your muscle glycogen, for example, your body can tap into that stored glycogen in order to basically use that as fuel during your runs, which will increase your performance and also, of course, facilitate recovery, right? And also with that, if you truly care as well about aesthetics, you want to just look a little bit muscular as well, then you won't tap into direct muscle, right? So that's basically why I basically take more carbohydrates during this prep, and where I will reduce the amount of healthy fats, even though I still love a very good steak or very good salmon fillet, which will also, of course, provide me the right nutrients in order to recover and, of course, to perform. There's nothing wrong with that. I just like to just increase right now my carbohydrate level. Alright, so I just got back from my first strength training session of the week, lower body strength leg day. Right now it is 2 p.m. and I'm just gonna have my first meal a little bit later than planned, literally 2 hours. But yeah, you know, I just always like to just fast during my strength training sessions. I've tried it with meals in my stomach and I just don't feel as energized. It's super strange, but when I eat during strength trainings, my energy drops. So I prefer to just always fast during strength trainings. During runs, during my marathon build, during the runs, prior to the run, I never ever fast. I don't want to run on fumes like I mentioned earlier. So right now, I'm gonna have my first meal, and as you can see here, we have 350 to 400 grams of ground beef, and this is what we have seasoned with salt, Himalayan sea salt with pepper, and 1 egg, as you can see. So right now we're just gonna mix it up. And that's what we will throw into the pan. The rice is already cooking, and once this is done, we will have our first meal. So that's gonna include rice, jasmine rice, 1 cup, 350 grams of ground beef, grass-fed, and 3 to 4 pasture-raised eggs. So that's what we will add into the pan as well. So this being said, this will create our first meal. The rice is cooking, as you can see. So yeah, this is gonna include our first meal. I'm, to be very honest, starving. It's a little bit later than expected. So nevertheless, I'm gonna enjoy my first meal, and then later today we have our second meal, which is also gonna include a little bit of carbs, a little bit of protein, and some healthy fats, of course. And of course, not to forget, we always top it off with some honey. This is of course also dense in carbohydrates, so this will help us a lot to increase the carbohydrate levels. And of course, I like the taste. All right, so lunch is prepared, and what we have right now is ground beef, some jasmine rice, and 3 pasture-raised eggs, but we forgot the avocado. So that's what we're gonna add on top of it as well to basically finalize the lunch for today. And this is something that I literally have every single day for the past 2 to 3 weeks, almost every single day, because as you know, I switched from more, let's say, the steaks, the ribeyes, etc., towards more carb, and this with the rice and everything around it has more carbs in it. So that will allow me to, of course, as well, basically top off the muscle glycogen for tomorrow when I have my easy run. So this is the first meal of the day. The second meal of the day, normally I create myself, but as I'm back in the Netherlands right now, I will just eat what basically my parents will create for me. So with that being said, this is the meal that I most likely have every single day. Few days basically slightly different, where I, for example, change the ground beef for salmon or for a steak. But the base is always carbs and protein rather than fats, what I like to prefer. So that's the first meal of the day, and later today we have some more carbs, some more protein, and that will wrap up basically 2 meals for this day, which I like to prefer to 2 meals every single day, except for the days that I run, which is 4 times a week right now, where I'll have 3-4 meals a day. All right, so let's talk all about nutrition. I truly believe that if you know how to fuel properly, you will have one of the biggest competitive advantages in terms of your runs, around your runs, how to recover, everything, literally. It makes the biggest difference if you know how to fuel prior, during, and after your workouts, after your runs, after your races, after like very big workouts that you maybe have scheduled for yourself. You will show up better for yourself prior to the workout. You will show up better to perform during the workout, and you will be able to recover faster. So you're able to just perform better for yourself, for your people around you, and for everybody that's involved. It makes literally the biggest difference. And let me tell you a story. Look, last year during my marathon build in Madrid, where I was running my first ever marathon, I basically prepared myself completely wrong. I made a lot of mistakes, which I'm very glad for, of course, because otherwise I wouldn't know what I know right now. That was through trial and error, literally. So I genuinely hope with this video as well that you will understand a little bit more about what you can do in order to facilitate your performance prior, during, and after the workout, so you're able to recover faster. But when I was running multiple times per week, when I was increasing my volume, I was increasing my intensity, what we will do during a build, right? I was not fueling properly. I was literally running on fumes. I was not having anything in my stomach sometimes because I thought, the tougher I am, the better I will be during race day, right? When I do have that nutrition in my stomach. And what I was finding out was my recovery was very, very poor. I was literally running on fumes. I did not have the right energy sources in my body in order to perform, to become better. And that was something that I did completely wrong. And that's something that I will not do right now, for example. And after a certain time, when I found that out, when I was actually needing more carbohydrates, which is like that fast, sugar source that you sometimes just need to perform better, I was finding out that I just had to consume a lot more prior to my workouts. And when I did that, when I was consuming just a lot more, literally more whole foods in the beginning, and then also after that using supplements, for example, maltodextrin, what is in most fuel sources, almost every single fuel source, I was finding out that was really hurting my stomach. I had GI distress, I had discomfort, I had bloating, gassing, like everything that you don't want to experience during a, let's say, normal weekly daily run that you will do, or especially during race day. I was experiencing that, and it was very, very ignoring. It was ignoring me, right? I just had enough of it. I was consuming a lot of whole meals, and I was just like one thick, like block in my stomach that was just not helping. It was actually doing more harm than good. That's what I believe. So I was trying to replace that, let's say, whole food that I was consuming, which I still consume right now, but in in lesser amounts, for supplements, right? To supplement myself properly. So what I did was finding out, okay, what kind of let's say, sources are there available right now in the market in Europe, right? That is fast gastric emptying that will not cause me that stomach pain, that GI distress, that discomfort, right? And without any processed or any like junk in there, right? I'm just someone like to consume natural sources of protein, of fats, of carbs, and especially during my runs. So it's not causing, let's say, that distress or let's say that discomfort during my runs. So I was trying a lot of different sources, and most of them, which I was not aware of, did have that maltodextrin source of carbs, which is lower quality carb source, and that for most people might work, but for me it was not working at all. And I know a lot of people it's actually causing as well GI distress because it's not fast gastric emptying. So after trial and error for literally weeks and even months, I was ultimately finding out there was another source which is called cluster dextrin. Cluster dextrin is a fast gastric emptying carb source that you can use in order to facilitate that process of, let's say, when you consume it, right? When it goes from your stomach to your intestines really fast. And that's something that I needed. So I consumed it and I saw the biggest difference. I was able to perform better during my workouts. I did not have that GI distress. I had no bloating, no gassing, nothing. It was literally like an overnight success. That's how I felt. So after understanding that and after finding out that it was so hard to find that on in the European market, that's basically the reason why we, for let's say Kaizen athletes, are right now producing a carb source with cluster dextrin, with the most natural ingredients, very little ingredients, that is fast gastric emptying, that will help you during your workouts. That is something that I created personally, to be very honest, for myself. Right now with Kaizen athletes, we are in the building process of that. We already have a few samples received, which are consumed during my morning runs inside those sachets, right? And inside those Ziplocs. And that's something that I'm right now testing. It's working really well. We are right now optimizing the formula in order to have it perfect. To have it completely natural, non-processed, non-GMO, nothing like artificial. To just have all the benefits without the side effects. So you won't have that GI distress. So you're able to run and you know exactly, okay, I can trust it. I can trust this product that will allow me to perform better without any side effect. That is something that is very hard to find in the European market from what I know. And that is something that we are right now creating with Kaizen athletes. So that's just a little side note. And truly, this all comes down to nutrition, of course, because prior to my workouts, I would like to just have something in my stomach so I'm able to perform better, especially during those higher intensity workouts. So around your workouts, it's all about, okay, how can you recover, right? And even your recovery is dependent on how you fuel properly, not even a few minutes before the workout, but the days leading up to that workout. That's how you will be able to recover faster, because if you consume carbohydrates, right, with the right quality, then you will just top off that glycogen in like that muscle glycogen, right, which your body can then tap into during the run. So you're not just tapping into like lean muscle, right? That's something you don't want. That's where you will lose a lot of muscle mass really fast. And that's what you do when you're, for example, going fasted in a bigger run, in a more intensive run. So that's something that we don't want. We don't want to have, of course, that discomfort, but we also don't want to lose muscle a lot while we're running. So that all comes down to having the right sources of protein, fats, but especially carbs in your body so your body can tap into that. So you're not just running on fumes. And I truly believe that if we look at nutrition, it is not just, okay, what do I eat, right? Prior to the workout, during the workout, and even after the workout. It's also about what are you consuming in terms of sodium? Because water alone is not enough. We need electrolytes. Electrolytes will have, if it's the right source, the right amount of sodium to basically increase blood volume, right? Which will reduce the amount of potential injuries. You will have more blood volume in your body, so you're able to just perform better, and you will just be, let's say, more optimized in order to sweat, right? for me personally, I'm a very, let's say, salty sweater. So I just need more sodium in my meals, but also in my drinks prior to my workout and after my workout, and sometimes even during the workout, in order to replenish that sodium, right? Because if we will just drink water alone, then we will become dehydrated. It sounds very strange, but we are just losing a lot of sodium during our runs. And in order to basically replenish that, we need electrolytes. Electrolytes is, let's say, most likely a sodium source of what we right now are producing in terms of pink Himalayan sea salt that will just have enough, let's say, milligrams of sodium per serving to help you during your workouts, prior to your workout, and also after your workout to replenish your sodium levels. Because water alone, it will just not work. You will just feel very fatigued, most likely, and you will not be able to recover that fast from a very intensive or very long workout. So we need electrolytes, carbohydrates, protein, fats as well, of course, but also electrolytes in order to perform, to prepare, and of course to recover better and to just be prepared for the race and the trainings that you will do during your build. So with all that being said, I'm going to decrease my fats, I'm going to increase my carbs, and because of that, I will be able to perform better, to recover faster. Kilometer easy run of this week has been completed. Right now I'm preparing my second meal for the day, which is including 2 salmon fillets with 3 pasture-raised eggs and 1 whole avocado. I always like to season my salmon the same way, which is very simple. It's just adding some salt, we add some pepper on top of it, and to round it off we also add some honey. Then we put it inside the preheated oven for around 12 to 13 minutes. And when it's done, we just get it out of it and we serve it. This looks absolutely amazing. So, and this is our second meal of the day, what we have for lunch. It looks amazing, it tastes amazing, and it smells even better, I can tell you that. Like 1 whole avocado, 3 pasture-raised eggs, 1 salmon fillet, wild caught. And this is just a dish on its own, like literally. I can eat this as well every single day together as the steak and everything that I just like to prepare. But you know, this meal itself is something that I took a lot in Spain. To be very honest, I just love salmon a lot, and I always like to top it off with some more honey. So that's what we're gonna do, and we are gonna enjoy this fully after a great run this morning, of course, which wraps up the second workout of this week, which was a 20K easy run. And tomorrow we go again. Alright, so what do we have in this protein bowl? We of course have whey protein powder, we have collagen, whole Greek authentic yogurt, kefir, sea moss, walnuts, some Brazilian nuts, goji berries, hemp seeds and chia seeds, and of course 1 egg yolk. This literally is game changing. This tastes amazing if you haven't tried it yet. Just an egg yolk without the egg white that you put into it. I don't know, the taste becomes really good. So you just test it, see if you like it. And this is basically to round off the second meal of the day before we have our last meal in 3-4 hours from now. Alright, leg day threshold, or let's say speed work, has been completed. Right now I will have my second meal of the day, which is ground beef, 4 eggs, and of course some rice, what we have almost every single day. I have my dog with me. I'm very hungry, I'm starving to be very honest, so I'm really gonna enjoy this. And what I'm going to try, this is something I've never tried before, which is, as you can see here as well, roasted seaweed for sushi. I literally saw someone online who put let's say the rice inside a, let's say a sheet of one of those. He literally rolled it up and he took it like a bazooka. It looked amazing. So I'm just gonna try that as well to see how it is. And yeah, let's try it out. All right, so this is what we are going to do. We have our roasted seaweed and we are just gonna make this open right now. Look, I've never tested it before, but this is also full of carbs for what I've seen. And let me even confirm that. The total nutritional value of 100 grams equals 38.4 grams of carbohydrates. So this even fits into, you know, what we are searching for is, of course, an increase in terms of carbohydrates. So we're just gonna take one sheet like this. So what I saw online, someone basically put it like this. Then he grabbed some rice and he literally put it in the middle like that. I'm not gonna do too much. Okay. And now we're just going to roll it up like that. Oh, I have two sheets actually, I see right now. So one sheet, just gonna roll it up. Okay. And he literally let it sit for like a minute or so. But that's not what we are going to do. We're just going to test it directly. And then it even smells like sushi, to be honest. Well, it's very dry. It even sticks at my lip. I need to get used to it, I think, but let's put some honey on it. Honey always solves the issue. So we're just gonna add some honey on top. Maybe it makes the taste a little bit better, because it's a little bit like, It doesn't taste too well, to be very honest. But it has a lot of carbs, so. Well, I would not recommend it, to be honest. Let's just stick with this and let's leave this for what it is. You can try it out, but maybe you need to add something on top of it, but it's very, very dry. So I wouldn't make it again, to be honest. So let's just continue with this plate, and that wraps up the second meal of the day actually, because of course we had breakfast this morning, and later today we have a beautiful steak. So that's the second meal of the day.